Okay, so today is September 27th of 2022. And seriously, people, I am questioning my worth. In terms of, like, for everything that I do in a day, I don't seem to get very far in life. Right? And a lot of the stuff that I do is redundant, quote unquote, to which people just take for granted, right? Because it's just normal everyday stuff. Dishes, laundry, garbage, whatever, sweeping, wiping things down, just whatever. And it's just round and around and around and around. And then, I'm teetering with my eyes, to which I'll be seeing an eye specialist very soon, and I'll let you know what happens, okay? But, things may get worse, people, and then what? If you've seen what went out in the front there just recently from the basement, wait until they start gutting the whole house, right? To put me in a little room, basically by myself for the most part, because I'm blind and I'm useless now, right? That's what people say. Oh, you don't want to go blind, you'll be useless, you won't be able to do anything. And I'm like, okay. So in the meantime, like, for everything that I've done over the years, it just hasn't gotten me anywhere. And if it has, it hasn't gotten me very far. So, it makes me doubt my self-worth, which, I guess under the circumstances, when you're kind of like teetering with eyesight and you're facing, I don't know what I'd be facing, but it just kind of, I don't want to say it brings you down to a humble state, but it's not even about being humble. It's just, it's like after you're all used up and it's all said and done, you just have to mosey on your way and put your hands behind your back and just truck off into the distance and don't look back. I don't know. But okay, so with that said, I don't want to stress myself out too much. So, sometimes just a steady pace is a good pace versus the no pace, right? That's the thing about depression. It brings you down to a no pace. You get kind of stuck. And, there's no improvement, right? Things really start to fall apart. So when you're feeling really kind of like in that position where you're almost stuck because maybe you yourself don't feel like your life has any worth, like any value, or maybe, you feel like you don't contribute enough to the world, whatever it is, because we're always being bombarded that we don't do enough, that we're not good enough, that we're lacking, and that, we deserve to be abused because we, don't measure up with expectations over there. And we face, I'm sure I'm not the only one that faces that hurdle over hurdle over hurdle over hurdle, with some of those hurdles getting higher and higher as we ourselves get weaker and weaker, right? And that's part of the game. That's part of the, I don't want to say human game, but being that a lot of humans participate in it, that's part of the game. I guess for some, as their only means to win in life, right? So this is where you just got to find something where, you got to just keep with the pace. So I've decided that, because I've been working a little bit with the, starting to work on the hydroponics. So that was a long introduction for the day, because I'm going to try and focus in between doing laundry and, changing a marine or whatever it is. I'm going to pitter with the hydroponics today. well, my little grow room, right? You know, it's going to be a mixture of hydroponics, things growing in dirt. I'm going to bring in a little bit of aeroponics, right? I've got 2 locations, although I'm probably going to have to figure out a third one because the breakers that I'm using in terms of the outlet is just not enough when my son is using or cooking or whatever, and you know, it's blowing out the breaker, right? So as much as I love War Room 1, I don't think I can put a lot of wattage in there. So with that in mind, you know, I'm seeking out a third location because I've got this one here in War Room 1. Then I've got something starting up by the sliding doors with the sunlight coming in on the shelves, and that's only 2 shelves, right? So anyway, do you see? This is pretty much I don't even know why the light is on. I'm going to work on the timer today. I found the timer, so we're going to try and get the timer going. Oh yes, I run the light during the day, and I have the door open, and I open this up to try and let it get air and windy, and you know, I make blow so it can self-pollinate. I shake the plants a little bit because they self-pollinate, right? But it needs to kind of move around. So anyway, being that the door is closed right now because, you know, I'm always paranoid somebody's going to walk into my house, right? Anyway, this is how I encase it when I'm just running the lights. But we're going to get in here today and work on this because the weather is changing and I only have so much time. And in light of what I've done so far, I'm pretty impressed with it. I feel like I've lost one of these things because I had it all taped up like this, a single sheet, just to do what I did here. And as you can see, I can't find it because I've been looking for it this morning and I can't find it. So I don't know. I think somebody came into my house and scooped up on one of these things. And for all I know, they could be opening up my cupboards because there are people out and about where I live that, especially, like, I learned this at Gateway Place. That's where I did a lot of that community work. I don't know, some of those, I don't want to say teenagers, but, you know, older youth, I guess you could say, they were just walking into people's apartments. Just walking in, open the door and just walk in. The tenants were starting to complain about it because they were getting caught doing it. I feel like that's what I'm dealing with the stalking that relates to, you know, Julian's sister. I wouldn't put it past that bitch just to come up to my doorstep because I know she's already been up to my doorstep, creeping around early in the wee hours of the morning, right? But I wouldn't put it past her to either she herself come up and try and walk in, or she'd have one of her, you know, supporters, what else would you call them, right, to do it for her. Because for the life of me, I can't find, I don't know where it is. This, because I had a single sheet that was taped up, sorry, like this. This one's not. And you think I can find it? No. So, of course, that, you know, I don't know. See, this one is not like that either. It's not in here. It disappeared. Which tells me somebody came up into here and grabbed it and walked off with it. And what else are they grabbing and walking off? Normally I have this all chained up so nobody can just walk in and grab it, but because I was doing that live with Rhea working on the appeal, this was unlocked. So I'm wondering if they opened up this shit because I didn't put the chains back. Right? This is where I keep my binders. I'm all paranoid now. I have to go, I'm looking for a flashlight so I can figure out if anything's missing because of the brazen shit that I go through in this house. Because of the, you know, negligence of the government. Because if the government would do what the government would do, supposed to do, people like Julian's sister would be held to account. Okay? See? Now I did take 3 of Shimei's binders out of here. And I try and keep this chained up. Either or, I'm missing one of these and like I'm choked. So that depresses me, which makes me want to shut down. Because there's so many other things that depress me. It doesn't take much more to depress me more. Right? But I'm not going to get depressed. What I'm going to do is we're going to work on this today. And this is where my video is going to be basically focused on. Now, I do want to try different methods here, and as we go along you will see that. Okay, so technically to utilize this space to the best of my ability, because I can hang one more of these over here, right, and I can continue to take this stuff and I can actually run another panel around it just to reflect the light back into this little area and give it a good go at attempting to learn how to do these things. Okay? So, not like I have any room for this stuff, but I need this. You know, I want to extend what I'm doing here. Because I don't have a lot of space, right? And like I can take this silver stuff and I can just run it a panel up in there. So, you know, it protects everything in there, and I'm not doing nothing with it right now. I might grab a web design book, just keep 1 or 2 out just in case, but we know it's not like I can do any computer work when it comes to web pages, so let's be realistic here, right? But I'm sure I can bring 1 or 2. Other than that, I think the goal for today is to probably take this out, even though I've got no place for it, and get ready to add on to what I'm doing here. Wash a couple more of these, get them ready. I have to buy some more gray tape. So when I go out, I'll make sure I'll get some gray tape. And then just, insulate it a bit more, you'll see, right? And get this little part going where I can, but then that's where I'm using that outlet. And I'm pretty sure this outlet down here are on the same breaker. If it's not one thing, it's something else, right? And when my son is at the height of his cooking and computer and lights and, these things are running in here, it blows out the breaker. So, unless I get these things going on a different time schedule, where they're in the dark, basically, because winter's coming, so they wouldn't even know anyway, right? Where they're basically in the dark at the peak of his time when he's cooking and stuff, right? I mean, there is that idea. So anyway, okay, so I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you what I've accomplished here. So basically, I think what I'm gonna do is try and focus on this in between doing laundry and everything. I'm gonna take the time to pull this stuff out, and yeah, I'll be back. Okay, cool. So as you can see, I'm just moving things around, right? Trying to figure out what I want to do now. I don't have any gray tape, but I will buy some when I go out. So right now I'm just using some of this hockey tape, right? Because, I don't want styrofoam all over the place. And yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody walked off with my sheet because I can't find it, people. Like that's messed up, okay? If I don't find it in the next day, then that means somebody came up into my doorstep when my door was open and walked in and just walked off with that, and who knows what else they walked off with. Okay? Like, this shit with Julian's sister isn't freaking funny, man. Okay? Like, there is something seriously wrong with that girl. After that live stream, she was on there posting when Rhea and I were doing that and just being her cocky self. And then she went in and into an old video with Andre's birthday party and posted up Shimei as if, right? And had Rhea in there with Alex's brother, and then next one she's up there shaking her ass. So, you know, and then I lose one of these, okay? Think about it, right? Okay, it's not a lot of room in here, but anyway, so this can go up 2 more levels, and I've got something else coming in the mail in terms of, you know, I want to teach Andre about aeroponics versus hydroponics versus hydroponics or whatever, right? So I'm not sure yet. I want to put a couple of tomato plants from somewhere into a couple of glass big jars that I have. They're probably not big enough, but I'm going to try them anyway, right? And yeah, so that's what I've got so far. But yeah, no, definitely somebody came and stole. It was just one sheet by itself that I hanged over that was like this, people. Like, who the fuck is coming into my house doing that crap? Like, seriously. Like, that's... But people do that, though. I seen that crap at Gateway Place. A bunch of hoodlum teenagers with their mums instigating it. Yeah, and now some of them are dead or in jail for life because ran around murdering people and shit. So, right? I got a pretty idea what's going on here if I don't find it, and it should be like right here, and it's not here, people. So, and we already found that decomposing whatever it was in the bag on the porch there, on the front porch, in that brown thing, right? So that bitch is mad because we're not dropping the ball on murder in terms of Shimei was murdered, people. Right? That's a dirty secret that will never be covered up. Never. Okay. So yeah, there's only so many people that are going to come up to my doorstep randomly whenever and steal shit like that, okay? It's like that yard check, you know? I do a yard check. Next thing you know, you can see somebody else doing their little yard check, which was obviously a fake yard check, but besides that point, that just looks like, what is that called? Clover, right? We don't want clover in here. It's unnecessary. Yeah, that's just clover. So I just brought in a new plant. Yeah, that's clover. Right, because, you know, the weather's going to be changing pretty soon. So, yeah, what else did they do? What else did they do? And when did they find the time to do this? Huh? When do you think they came into my house? All right, was the door closed and they just walked in and then quietly walked out? Or was the door open and they seen that and took it as an opportunity to walk up to the steps and just grab it and walk off? Or what? What do you think happened? Now, Andre, silly Andre, left the door unlocked the other night because, you know, he goes gets these cats, and it's not like he doesn't know because he did that once before. So that person come at night, because I know somebody coming up to my doorstep all the time. They open up my little chute over there, right? Just whatever. Oh, it's just stupid. No. Anyway, you can see I hung another light. It's right here. It's a different kind of light. This one here has a dimmer on it. Right? But these plants are pretty big. So, and then this here has its own little right? You can see. So it's going to have a lot of different kind of light in here. Now I'm thinking I went off and got some more of this, but I don't have, you can see, right? I don't have the gray tape to do the ends, but for now I'm just going to makeshift it in here, and you can see, hold on. Okay, so as you can see, right, because we're going to try and grow lettuce at some point. Here I'm going to do it in a cracking method with no irrigation and a solution, and I'll find a tomato plant, and I have to make a pot. So that's what's going to be there, just because, you know, we're kind of experimenting here a little bit too, right? I brought this guy in today, so I'm not too sure what's going on with it because I can't really see that well in terms of buds or anything like that, but I think it's starting to flower or wants to flower or something. Right. I can't really tell. Yeah, something over there. Now, whether they got pollinated or not, I don't know. Right. So, anyway, I just thought I'd bring that in. And now I'm just kind of, I brought this in. I have to get some gray tape. And, you know, right? Definitely somebody came in and stole that from my house. Now, Andre does lock the door, but sometimes he forgets to, what is it called? You know, put the other lock on. I wouldn't be surprised that person isn't trying to pick the lock yet. Okay? Like, they grew up in the ghetto, man. This is ghetto shit. Only ghetto people do crap like this. Teenagers, when they're like 17, 14, 15, 16, and they're going down the wrong path. Those are the ones that are either in jail for life because of murder, or, what do you call it? Or dead. Right, it was a big problem at Gateway Place with kids doing that. You know, young adults, right? Because they were walking in and stealing things from people's houses, right? Some people got it worse than others. Well, they don't do it just in apartment blocks, okay? So I've got one, it looks like one plant left. I don't think I have any room for this, unless I put this in the middle, which maybe we'll try it. I don't know. I'm kind of done for now. Kind of for now. Oh yeah, no, I have to put chopsticks in the dirt, poking all over because of stupid cats. And Elsie's back upstairs, and she's old. Alright, I feel sorry for her, so I'm going to buy a couple of cat boxes and lock them up at night. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I just want to see if this shelf, because I have to be able to get in here and water, right? And then this guy just tucks in. I can probably get a smaller, let's see, I'm going to switch these around. I got little parsley growing here. A little bit. Anyway. And that one's there. And this is basically it. I'll have to get sticks, right? I'm going to straighten them up and give them longer sticks. This one is fine in the corner now. Right, it will stay. And because it was bending and twisting in the greenhouse, it goes nice in that corner. It's all twisted up, so I'm going to try and keep it kind of like twisted up in that corner and see what it does. Right? As these ones, I don't know. There's quite a few tomatoes. You can see they are growing. Right? So, how big, to what degree, as to how many, I don't know. Right? It's hard to say. Hold on. Okay, so like I said, the board that I put here, somebody took it. Like, who does that, people? Seriously, who walks into people's houses and just takes shit? Okay? Anyway, you can see what I've done. I hung another lamp. I've got this one. This one turns on as well when the time comes if I want to use it. Right? I will see if I can find another one of these. Right? Hard to say. Anyway, the few that I had outside that I found so far, I just put there, you can see. Right? But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the one singular that has the gray tape on it that I put here, and then the macrame. It's gone. Somebody stole it, people. Hold on. Okay, so who do you think took that? Do you think it was Brooks? Or do you think it was Julian's sister? So I just added temporarily until I can get some gray tape because, you know, I have to tape up these anyway, so I'm going to have to get back up in here. I like it taped up because then it doesn't lose its styrofoam, plus it's, you know, it's pretty sturdy, right? Like, you know, right? So, but for temporary, I'm just putting in there because Andre went off and got me a couple of more sheets, so hold on. See, I was going like that, right? And then I'd hang that over it. So definitely, unless my son, maybe Marcane took it. I don't know, people. If Marcane didn't take it, then that means somebody's coming into my house, walking in, and taking things. Now, whether they picked the lock, seriously, okay? See, I have more, you see? So, it's the fact that somebody's coming inside my house and doing this. More than likely, I don't think Marcane would run off with that stuff. It was only one sheet. They're coming in here. Whether they're coming in when the door is open and they're sneaking in and sneaking off, or whether they're picking locks, sneaking in and sneaking out, right? Maybe Andre did lock the door. He just didn't put that flip thing on, and somebody picked the lock, and when I got up, it was unlocked, right? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish this video. So I asked my son about that, and he said no, he didn't take it. So that means somebody came into my house. People. Okay? I give you one guess as to who did that. Only one person would be interested in something like that. Right. Seriously. It's because she creeps my yard, people. She creeps my house. Right. There's something seriously wrong with this girl. So we're just seeing if we can find a few potatoes. New potatoes. Not very big. Then who knows, right? Mind you, these weren't in here for very long. And honestly, we don't know if I've been raided up here too. Like I said, we're not dealing with somebody that's normal. How about I turn off the camera and come back when this is done? I don't think I'm going to be getting that many anyway. These things were still growing. Kind of. Kind of still growing, but not for much longer. Yeah, I feel like I've already been raided. Whatever. Hold on a minute. Okay, so they got in late. They were wanting to grow. I don't know if I got robbed. I wouldn't be surprised. Right? But it's okay.